Welcome. Come on in, get comfortable. It's time for another episode today. We are so excited that you're here because we know that you could be anywhere today, and we are excited that you're sharing another episode with us. My name is Jessica Dugas, Intuitive Mentor, and this is The Breakthrough. It's the spiritual view for your soul and mind, where we dig deep on today's spiritual hot topics and inspire you with stories that change our lives. And I want to know from everybody that's watching, whether you're live or on the replay, are you ready for an epic adventure today? That's my question for you. Comment down below, say hello, tell us where you're joining from, and give us a big yes if you are ready for an epic adventure. Our very special guest today, Bruiser Brosey, is on an epic adventure himself, and he's going to be sharing a little bit about what that means in his life, and how you can go about creating an epic adventure for yourself as well. I've also got a couple of my very good friends here today as our panelists, so I want to make sure to get them on so we can start talking about our hot topics. Up first on the show today, we have our fabulous declutter coach and consultant helping us to be organized and in place during our breakthrough moments. Everybody, please hit the heart button for our friend Heather Clark today.
Hello.
Yay. Heart button. I need like a heart. I decided I need like a little red heart to hold up, like on a popsicle stick or something like that. Children have a job to do now.
There you go. That's season 3, right? Season 3 stuff.
Yes, goals. Hashtag goals.
Hashtag goals. There you go.
How are you today, Miss Heather?
Good. Well, I'm glad you didn't call me ma'am this time.
Well, there's no ma'am, but I do want to know, what is a joy that you would like to share with us for this week? What's a joy you experienced this week?
Well, again with the kids. So we went to so it was a beautiful day, and we ended up actually going to a park. Like it's just a local park. And the kids were doing, like as kids do, they do their flips on things, they go on the swings, whatever. Okay, my joy was trying to even listen. I am clearly not a 10-year-old anymore. Because when I was trying to go on those monkey bars, man, did I make my kids laugh. I was like, okay, forget it, we're out. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. It was a beautiful day, and it was very, very entertaining to watch me apparently try and do flips and everything. I did.
I would have liked to see that. That would have been
well. I tried getting my kids to like take a video of it. My daughter was just too busy taking videos of everything else. So, but yeah.
Well, and you had a good Mother's Day too, yes?
Yes, we had an excellent Mother's Day. We ended up actually going to the drive-in with the kids and myself, and we saw Endgame. Well, I say we started off. I ended off because by the end, it was just me awake.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's fun though, still, right? Because it's kind of one of those precious mom moments where we watch them sleep, and then we're like, but now we're watching it alone.
Yeah, I was like, meh, it's quiet.
That is
I don't have to move, like, because it kept going, like we were moving, like we were playing musical chairs.
Yeah.
So
there's joy in that too, somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right, guys, up next on the show today, we have our Mama Bear extraordinaire helping us with all the traumas in our lives, releasing those. Everybody, please hit the heart button for our friend Siri Ridenauer today. Heart button that doesn't exist yet. Hi, Siri. I have you unmuted now. How are you today?
Absolutely wonderful.
Yay. And what's a joy that you can share with us for this last week? What's something good you've experienced this week?
I'm alive.
Hey.
Listen, after some of the energy this week,
Exactly.
It's been a little bit of an energetic roller coaster this week, right? How was your Mother's Day? Was that good for you?
Yes, it was quiet. I got to sit and catch up on my classes I've been taking.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting how, as a mom, that we can go either way with the quietness? It's either a joy or it's scary. Like, we don't know what's going on back there, right? I know when mine are completely quiet, I'm like, what?
All mine are grown, so I can enjoy.
The silence isn't as scary once they're older, but when they're young, it's like, there should be noise.
Oh, yes. when you got a bunch of them in the house.
Yes. And speaking of children, we're going to get into our hot topic today. So before we start talking about that, I have to show you guys, I'm actually wearing some of the new Breakthrough merchandise right now, and I have to show off my shirt. I'm going to move my camera for half a second. This is my shirt. I wore it all over town this morning when I went to the grocery store. Fridays are for breakthroughs. Fridays are for breakthroughs. And on the back of the shirt, it actually has the website, www.thebreakthroughshow.com. So make sure you go to our website and check out all of our fun new shirts. There are fan shirts for each of the panelists, and there are also generic breakthrough shirts like this that are a lot of fun to wear out. And everybody said, what's a breakthrough, and why only Fridays? And then you can tell them, because the show. Yes. So that's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check that out. So our hot topic today, as we were talking about children, our hot topic is, should everyone get a trophy? You know, some of our kids play sports or they do different things, and you see this a lot in the mom or parent communities on social media, where there's a lot of years ago, it was all about, if you won the championship, or if you were the MVP, if you did something above and beyond, right, you would get a trophy, you would get a medal. And now it's everybody on the team gets something. It is because you participated. You were there, so you get a prize. How do you guys feel about this? Because I feel like this mentality really flows into a lot of different areas of our lives. We've become so afraid of hurting people's feelings or leaving people out that we can't celebrate greatness anymore. That's kind of how I felt. How do you feel about it, Heather?
Well, we discussed a little bit before in the green room earlier, and just a little. My biggest thing is, you're now creating stuff that people aren't going to want. Like,
coming from the declutter,
coming from somebody who already has people that keep those things from when they were a child and stuff like that, because it said MVP and because it said all that stuff. Well, now you're just giving people more stuff to clutter up their lives, because really, is the kid going to appreciate it? Maybe there are some kids that are like, yes, I get a trophy, whatever. But then when they realize what the actual meaning behind it is, that they aren't anyone special. It's because they were on the team. Okay, great. I could have showed up, kicked the ball once, and that was it.
Right.
And now you've just got stuff collecting in their rooms, and it's not stuff that they appreciate. It's not stuff that comes with a story. It's not stuff. It's just, yeah, I got that trophy, and so did everyone else on the team. So to me, it's just more stuff.
Well, and thinking about from that perspective as well, if you have something that's, and I've talked about this on the show before, and also those of you that are in my community, I've talked about this a lot. I tend to be a very nostalgic person. And what happens is, when you have things like that, it becomes very easy as a nostalgic person to get attached to that moment. And when we get attached to those moments, it is more likely that we have difficulty growing and moving on, because we're constantly going back there. We're constantly being brought to that spot. So I get that with the keeping things as well. And that's some of what has helped me to start decluttering with you, is that, am I still in this space? I was MVP then, but don't I want to be even more than that now? Don't I want to go even further than that now? So that's a great perspective from the declutter queen, as we call you. Siri, give us some of your thoughts on it. Do you need a trophy, Siri? Do you want a trophy for being here today?
Oh, no. From the mother side of it, I feel that's what a lot of problem in society today is we've got to the point where the kids don't have to work for anything. It's just given to them. And then they get this mentality when they get out in the world, well, you've got to give me this job because I'm just me,
Yeah.
They don't have to work for anything, and they have no value in life. Where if they have to work for it, they value that trophy or that milestone in their life if they've had to work for it. That's where a lot of our problems are coming today, is it's gotten down to, you owe me because I'm me. I don't have to do anything. You just hand it to me because that's who I am, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes I think it's moment to moment too, right? Like, I feel like if it comes to when we're talking about this with our children, there's a conversation I feel like that is missing a lot, where we're not saying right now, you know, Joey is the MVP because he, in this game, in this moment, he did play the best. He gave his all. He put his whole heart into it. But that doesn't mean that somewhere down the road, or that even tomorrow, that you can't do that. You know, we're missing opportunity, I feel like, for that conversation to happen, where we say it's just this moment. We hold so much stock in one thing just because, you know, I think just because you're not MVP right now, just because you didn't get the trophy right this moment, that doesn't mean that it can't be later for you. You know, how many people, there's a meme or something that goes around on Facebook quite a bit that is encouraging for people that are starting that are entrepreneurs and starting, you know, their businesses later in life. It talks about a lot of different people. Like, I think Steve Jobs is on there, who didn't start until later on in his life and became very, very successful. So just because you didn't get the trophy today, that doesn't mean that it's not for you later. You know, I feel like that conversation is missing. And to also, the other part of it is, why can't we celebrate one person or one thing or one group for any particular moment in time? Not everything has to include everybody. What happened to being there for each other and celebrating and you know, tooting someone else's horn other than our own for 5 seconds? You know, is that something that you try to talk to your kids about, Heather, with celebrating other people?
Well, with them, they know that there's certain things that require more effort. And when you have more effort and you are recognized for that effort because you actually put it in, you put that time, that effort, then that's when you get recognized. Like, you're going to put that in there. You're not getting recognized just for being on this earth. Okay, I shouldn't say that, but you are recognized because you are on this earth. But when you go above and beyond, that's when you could feel good for yourself because you've done something for somebody else. But it also, you know what, some people want to be recognized for that, and that's okay. Like, why can't we recognize those people for being the MVP, for being, you know, the most improved? We even had a most improved player as well, because, you know, when you first came in, they were kind of shy. They didn't really do much. They didn't whatever. But by the end of the game, they're up there. They are like, they've just changed. That game has changed them. So that was actually one I remember in high school, especially, is the one that we actually celebrated most. Because yeah, you could be the best from the beginning, middle, and end. Great. Yeah. But if you went into this game, like, you got on the team, great. But when you got on this team, and not only did you improve your skills, but you improved your team, like the way that you like encouraged the team, the way that you played against the other people and stuff like that, that was the one that we encouraged the most, because of the fact that you improved, you showed that you can change, you've done that stuff, like you've just shown so much. So yeah, that one, that's the one I say to the kids is, listen, you can go in the game and not know anything, but by the end of that game, if you've improved, then great. Like, that is awesome. And if you can celebrate somebody else for that, even better.
Yeah. And I like how you talked about recognizing, you know, the greatness within yourself as well, because it's also the, you know, getting a trophy, getting an award, that's someone else's perspective too. So I think that's another conversation that we have to have, is that, you know, if you know that you have given your all, if you know that you have put your whole heart in, then that has to be enough for you. You know, you can't expect someone else to toot your horn. You have to, you know, shout your own self from the rooftops and that sort of thing. And so I think that's another really good point as well. And that's one of the things that just popped into my mind was, watching shows like The Voice. Okay, so it gets down to like the final 20 to 12 people on the show, and everybody's really good. Everybody at the end of the show, you know, that's coming down to the finals is really good, but someone ultimately has to win the show. And they always talk about that at the end of the show. Like, it sucks to see some of you guys go, but but then it doesn't make a show. It doesn't make a competition.
They don't want to give everyone the $100,000
right
thing. Like, why not? We give everyone a trophy. Why not? They should all expect to get the $100,000, right?
Everyone with like the Oprah meme. Everybody gets a car. You get a car. You get a car. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Not today.
Not today. Yeah, I think it's a really good thing to talk about, and I want to acknowledge a couple of you guys. So Lucinda and Genevieve are chiming in the comments. Thank you guys so much. I know we're trying to convey the concept of earning, Genevieve says. I think that that's something that we're lacking a lot of times, that we do need to earn things. And I think that that really is something, like when we were talking last week with Prophet Calvin about you know, lack of discipline in the spiritual community. That's some of it. You know, it's like that whole, well, you can manifest whatever you want. Well, yes, but you've got to put something, there's got to be something there behind it. You've got to do some of the work, right, Siri?
There's got to be action behind it. You can't just say, okay, I want this to happen, and then sit on your couch and wait for it to drop in your lap. It don't.
Right. Well, why not?
Just like the kids can't just put the ball in the middle of the, you know, field and manifest their goal. They actually have to run and kick.
Wouldn't that be something to see?
Run and kick it. They have to do something to get it there. Yes.
Although that would be really weird and cool to like see a ball just go.
Well, look, even in Harry Potter, which was all about magic, when they were playing Quidditch, they still had to hit the damn ball in there, did they not?
Exactly.
So yeah, great.
Chase after that dream. Yeah.
Great topic, you guys. I think we're all pretty much on the same page. And I also know that coming from the background that he comes from with sports, that our guest today has a lot to say about this topic as well. And I promised him that even though I'm long-winded, that I would give him the opportunity to do that today. So I want to take a minute and welcome our guest. He is an epic adventure creator. He is on a personal journey himself and is now sharing that to the world with other people. Everybody, please hit the heart button today and welcome our friend Bruiser Brozzi to the show. He's chilled and mellow today, people. He's here and he's ready to inspire. Hi, Bruiser, welcome.
Hey, Jess, what's going on?
We're excited that you're here. This is a big deal for you, right? To come on a show and share a little bit today.
Oh my gosh, like I honestly, I didn't think at this point I'd be doing something like this. Like, this is actually, it's amazing, you know, just so excited for this.
Awesome. Do you want a trophy for being here today?
Opinion of participation trophies? No.
Yes.
For the participation trophies.
Listen, it's like that. Also, that commercial. If we give one to him, we got to give one to everybody else.
There's 30 other guests before me that you'd have to get a trophy for.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, there are better ways to really build the spirits of the children who we're trying to get into a position to succeed in this world. Mm-hmm. Like coaches, like, and it's not just coaches, but it's other people, but we all have a tendency to focus on what they're doing wrong and want to improve that. But why not talk about what they're doing right? What they're doing well, and really look at their strengths and really use their strengths to help the team. And then, look at what they should improve on, and just work on that in an uplifting fashion, and not trying to tear them down to then build them back up. Sometimes sometimes it happens, but we want to be as uplifting to them as possible. but I just don't feel a trophy is a way to go.
Yeah.
Another reason being is it diminishes the value of that tournament. You know, if they're a tournament or if they're or some sort of contest, it diminishes the competitive value of that event. While I'm all for more in the form of creation instead of competing with others in a lot of formats, sometimes competing against others is necessary. But what's more important is with participation trophies, I think it diminishes the quality of people competing against themselves.
Well, and you come from a background of participating in sports, right? Didn't you used to do wrestling?
Well, I was a manager for football and wrestling. I never really competed, but I've been around sports pretty much my whole life. And it's like, yes, you're competing against others, but more importantly, you want to compete against yourself and really focus on doing better than what you've done in the past, becoming your best self. You know, it's a great quote. I forget who said it, but the only person you want to compete against is yourself from yesterday. Something like that. You know, if you want to, so again, participation trophies, it diminishes that value, diminishes that competitive value. And really, when it comes to the games, I don't think it makes the games any more exciting. I think it makes it less exciting because a lot of teams or people that are there, they're either there just to be there, and they really don't care if they win. And you know, it just or some people are there to really, and this is what I love about sports, is the underdog factor. They want to pull a major upset, and you know, and if you give them participation trophies, I think it takes away from that. They're not going to want to be as much of an underdog. And also, you know, I can just imagine the cost of all those trophies. They could be putting those.
Let's talk about the money, people.
They could be putting all that money into like new equipment, better venues, like concession stand. Like they could be putting their money into a better use for their contest or community or whatever it is. Instead, they're putting it towards trophies that, to me, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So there's also that factor.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different aspects of it that are really good to look at. And I think the biggest thing for me in listening to you talk about your passion behind it as well is that, you know, ultimately with anything, whether you're competing against other people or competing against yourself, you've got to be working towards something. And if you know that you're going to get something just for showing up and not really trying and not really giving 100%, then it does take that excitement out. It takes out I think it would be missing possibility for growth and moving forward in your life. Absolutely. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. But I want to take a couple minutes and have you share a little bit about your journey with us. So the title of our show today is Epic Adventure. And I loved when you started talking about when you get passionate about what you do for people, the idea of an epic adventure isn't just in the words. You can tell by how pumped up you get, how excited you get. But I would love for you to share with us a little bit about what your life was like before you decided, I'm going to have an epic adventure.
Yeah. So my personal growth journey began on New Year's Day 2016. Really, before that, I had lived exactly how about 97% of the world lives. From 07 to 2016, all I did was wake up, go to a job. I've been a substitute teacher for since 07. I'm actually excited because I'm actually leaving that in 3 weeks. So, but I would wake up, go to my job, come home, and a lot of times I would just go out, hang out with my friends. I would actually, as weird as this might sound, I would go to a sports bar and just drink water all the time. I actually got a good reputation because I always tipped for the water, and not a lot of people would do that. But really, my life was just wake up, do my job, go out, and it just it. And I had this dream of becoming a full time teacher and helping teenagers, be a good influence to them. And then in 2012, some things had happened throughout, and it started to get me to rethink my dream, and just think, do I really want to become a teacher? And throughout the next few years, I was trying out some different things. I actually tried developing my own app. I tried actually got into the actually studied IT. um, actually got a actually got an IT job, a subcontractor job in 2015. Actually still doing that right now. Just tried out different things, but eventually I still kept feeling a little bit of emptiness inside of me, like, what am I doing with my life? So then, New Year's Eve 2015, a friend of mine from college, um, I was having a chat with her about this and wanting to have some goals, and she, love that my bookcase is right next to me, recommended The Secret to me and told me it was all about positive thinking and all that. So next day, New Year's Day 2016, bought the book, started reading it, went through it, and I was like, okay, you know what? This gets to be a start of something. Because I really liked what this book was about, and ultimately it led me to keep reading more and keep learning about myself, and just really wonder what I want to do with my life. And eventually one of the things I realized, one of the things I love to do with my life is really dictate my own schedule and really, just do things on my own terms. Uh, so started getting into the home business space in late 2016. And tried to work some things out there, but because I was dealing with jobs and other commitments, I've never really had the space to really do anything so consistently. I really just keep, and just never got any traction going. So fast forward to 2018, at the beginning of 2018, and I was trying to figure out, what kind of brand should I build? What should my life be about? And as so many people say, we watch TV, we watch movies, we read certain kinds of books, and it's like, oh, that'll never happen in real life. And I was thinking, that's bullshit. I can, we can build that in real life. And one of the genres in life one of the genres of books that I wish I read them more, but I really enjoyed, was the Choose Your Own Adventure books. And I figured, why not make life something along those lines? I know I couldn't use those words as my brand, because I figured they were already copyrighted.
Smart business move, Bruiser.
So I raised my cacao to that. So I decided to change choose to create, because that's really what we're doing with our lives. Even if we don't know it, we are creating our lives. And I thought, you know what? Let's add in the word epic, because I think that's one of the best words in the English language right now. So I'm like, create your own epic adventure. And that's what I decided to make my brand. So it was all at this point about, figuring out how I'm going to build it, how I'm going to market it, how I'm going to build it, what I'm going to offer. And fast forward to now, made some big decisions on my life. Like I said, I'm quitting my substitute teaching job in 3 weeks.
Wow,
I-
3 weeks already. Oh my gosh, the time's come up really fast, right?
June 7th is the day the resignation letter goes in. June 10th is when I start my new chapter, and really it's all about I'm going to be living my epic adventure and really no longer holding back, because really without teaching and having to really I don't feel like I have to hold back anymore what I say, because the stuff that I'm doing is really gig economy stuff like Uber, Grubhub, and then my IT subcontractor job, and really it's like yeah, what's gonna hold me back from really talking about my opinions. So so just planning things out, like my personal epic adventure, really what the epic adventure brand is about is lifestyle. Like people think it's all about travel, but it really isn't. Like for me, I do want to travel, and I think a lot of people do want to travel, but there's so much about the epic adventure that we don't think about, that I make part of the brand. It's like I've got 7 things that are really a part of it. One of them is the first one. I think it's the main thing. It's creating the freedom to spend our days doing what we want, when we want, and with who we want. For a lot of people, their epic adventure is really spending more time with their loved ones, and just being a closer family and all that. And
I think that's important that you recognize that, though, Bruiser, because there's so many people that are promoting their lifestyle as, they don't say epic adventure, but whatever, laptop lifestyle, whatever they're promoting, and they're doing it in a way that's like, this is what you should be striving for. But I think all of us do have very different ideals of what they want and need in their life right now. I know that there's people local to me who a group of girlfriends that they go away every month together for an entire weekend. That doesn't I have 6 children, and for me, like that, not only does that pose a lot of stress for me, having very young children at this point in my life, but it's like, I feel like I chose being a mom, and so I want to spend the time with them right now, because pretty soon they're going to be, time just go. My oldest is going to be 18.
She doesn't want to say it. She's like 18.
Like, and
It's
I'm
still gonna
in
happen
this
whether you say it or
space
not.
right now, like where I'm realizing that, like, where the hell does time go? And so I want to it lights me up more to sit here and play Minecraft with them, or go out and chase Pokemon with them, than it would to go away for a weekend, with the girls. Right now, that's where I am in my life. So I love that you recognize that everybody's adventure looks different, and referring to it back to those choose your own adventure books. I love that, because it's like you have that opportunity in every moment to pick something. Just pick which direction you want to go. I love that.
Yeah, and there's so many people out there. It's like you have so many options. It's like it's not one option and you're done. I mean, there's almost 8 billion people on this planet. One size does not fit all. Like seriously, you should be able to do what you want. Like having family, or like for me, my personal epic adventure is going to concerts, having day trips somewhere, and going like sporting events and all that. Just having more fun in our lives, and that actually takes me to the next facet of the epic adventure lifestyle. Improving every area of our lives while having a blast on the journey. Like improving your finances, improving your relationships, your health, your career, your environment, like
decluttering, Heather.
I was about to say, like, of course your environment makes sense.
Yeah, but have fun in the process. People think improving your life is all work, and it's not. You should be having fun.
I think he's a little passionate about this.
No, he's not.
Look, yeah.
That's all we have time for today, folks.
Yeah, I mean, we're all passionate about our personal brands. I mean, Jess, you're passionate about being the new moon mama. I mean, Heather's so passionate about being the decluttering queen.
She's so
Siri-
passionate. She often declutters herself.
I do that actually.
And Siri being passionate about the trauma squad.
Mhm.
You know, we all have our passions, and so that's huge. And that's why it's so important to have a personal brand. Most people don't have a personal brand. That's why their lives are boring. That's why they complain a lot. That's why a lot of people are empty inside. You know.
So
And,
I have a question, Bruiser.
yeah.
So if somebody is like where you were before you started to choose your own epic adventure, if they're sitting at that point where they're like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? What am I doing here? Whatever. What would you suggest for them to start with? Like, how do they start even figuring out what this passion you talk about is? Like, maybe they don't, maybe, you know, their kids are growing up, or maybe they don't even have kids and they don't want kids, or maybe like, how did you figure out that this was what you wanted to actually do? And how do you go figure out what's fun, or what's, you know, when you've just done the wake up, go to work, come home, wake up, go to work, come home?
Well, the absolute first thing is to recognize that they're not happy inside, and you know, become aware of, you know, what they're doing that they like, what they're doing that they're not liking, and then, you know, and then one of the things that they should be doing is grab some paper, grab a journal, grab a pen, and start tracking the things they like in their lives and the things that they don't like. And then you know, start looking at their lives from an honest standpoint. What lights them up? What brings them joy? And then they should start, you know, looking at how they can improve, how they can build their lives. What, you know, reading books, that's a huge step in the right direction. I got a lot of books I've been reading for almost 3.5 years now. You know,
Wait. So this doesn't just happen overnight? Like, we're not going to just wake up tomorrow and be like on the beach in Fiji somewhere? Like, that's not how that works.
No. And I think that's another misconception that a lot of people have. And I don't want to go too far into this because I want to get into the other facets. I want to mention those as well. But, you know, it's going to take time. You know, it could take a month to start going in the right direction. It could take a year. Like, I've been on this for 3.5 years, and you know, I'm only like in the beginning stages of building my business, and you know, just quitting my jobs and all that. Like I'm not totally where I want to be yet. You know, it is going to take time, but it's all about staying the course, being persistent, and having that vision of what you want in your life is so freaking important. Like, it is vital. You got to have a vision. You got to see yourself living the life that you want to be living. Like, it is so important. If you don't have a vision, it's going to be so hard for you to go forward because you don't know what you want in your life. Like it's so vital to have a vision.
So, Bruiser, give us an example of one of your epic adventures.
Okay, well,
How you started out.
Like, how I started out really is, you know, one of the biggest epic adventures I've had was last summer. I got a friend who lives in Australia. We connected, and she was actually, I'm from South Central Pennsylvania, and she was touring the US during the summer, and one of her stops was Philadelphia. And we just decided to spend the afternoon together. I drove 2 hours to Philly. We met up. We spent a couple hours doing a lot of, like, doing some of the things together. We had, and you think I'm crazy, but I'm 36. I live 2 hours from Philly, and I'd never really had an authentic Philly cheesesteak before. Like,
What?
Yeah. summer, she and I, we both had our first Philly cheesesteaks together.
How fun.
Awesome.
It was epic. Like, we went to see a couple things together, and that was just an incredible adventure. And I knew that I wanted more of that in my life, and really start spending my time meeting the friends I connect with online, you know, meeting them in real life, getting to know them more, connecting with them. You know, and if it's in the cards, you know, working with them to build both of our dreams together, you know, and really move on our visions. So yeah, appreciate you asking that, Siri. And you know, I love that. Love being able to share that. If I may, I want to share the other parts of the
Yes, share, give us the whole picture. So when everybody leaves the show today, this is how you get your own epic adventure.
Yeah, so I talked about creating the freedom to spend your days, you know, doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, improving every area of life while having a blast on the journey. Another thing, being your authentic self and living your top values. And this is another thing that people don't know is, what do they value most in life? Like, I just recently redid my top 10 values. Like, I put in fun, personal growth, creativity, positive impact, ambition, confidence, uniqueness, health, intuition, community. That's my top 10. Think, if you're watching, what are your top 10 values? Do you know what your top 10 values are? And then live them. Be your authentic self. Don't try to be something that, and this actually goes into my next topic, my next aspect of creating your own epic adventure, which is breaking away from societal expectations. Like, I'm sorry, but no. You know what? Sorry, not sorry. Societal expectations.
Someone's getting fired up now, and it's not me this time.
Societal expectations are overrated. They are so overrated. Like, why do we have to spend our lives pleasing other people? Why it is all right to put ourselves before others sometimes. You know, we need to make ourselves happy before we make other people happy.
Thank you.
You know, if we want to spend a night out with ourselves, and somebody else wants us to do something else, why can't we have that night out? You know, why can't we have that walk in nature? You know, and there's so many other things that I could talk about. Like, okay, like, we worry about offending people. We talked about that in the hot topic. Like, we worry about hurting other people's feelings. Like, why can't we speak our minds? Why can't we share our opinions and share them in a respectful way without having to worry about other people getting mad at us? Why can't we curse without worrying about what other people think? Like, people are offended by cursing, yet I'm willing to bet at least like 80% of us actually have cursed before.
Listen, we've got a money jar at my place that every time mommy says something like that, she owes.
Yeah.
But I don't curse.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Come on, seriously. Why the hell is cursing a bad thing? There's so many good people out there.
There's
in the world.
passion behind that.
Sorry.
Yeah. So many good people curse. Like, why does cursing make us bad people? It doesn't. It really doesn't. So yeah, breaking away from societal expectations and just shifting paradigms of what society thinks of us. Who cares what they think about us? Do yourself. Do you? Don't do other people. Going down the list, building a community of people who are aligned with your vision of life. And aligned with your habits, aligned with who you are. You know, again, most people, you know, what some people would say are not good. I'm sure there's more people out there that would resonate with what you do. You know, there are people out there, it doesn't matter what your vision is of life and what your message is, there are going to be people that resonate with you. You just got to go out and find them. And if they're not around where you live, there is social media. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's YouTube. There are
There's
people
the
out.
breakthrough.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. There's a community and the breakthrough.
Shameless plug.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. You know, there are going to be people that resonate with you. This and getting that community that really is aligned with you, that's going to make the journey so much more fun when you get those people, and makes you want to even live that epic adventure more. There's also,
Bruiser, I think it's an age thing, because I'm quite a bit older than the rest of you, and I've got to the point that I don't care what people think. If you don't like me, there's the door. I'll speak my mind. I'll say what I want to say. And if you don't like it, unfriend me, do whatever, you know. And I've found, since I've been that way, I'm finding a whole new group of people that I can circle up with that are the same way. And we have a ball, you know, it's great. And you get rid of all that drama in your life.
yeah, the people are going to come to you when you become that person that you enjoy being. They are going to come to you. And honestly, for those of you who are like being skeptical of what I'm talking about, I used to be the opposite. I used to care what other people think. I used to be in your shoes. So I am speaking from experience from both sides. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. 2 more points. Living from one's heart, soul, and intuition. We live in our heads way too much, and we think about, and I shouldn't even say we think too much, because a lot of times we don't even think. Like, because we want to go to other people. We want to look at the external circumstances. You know, we think, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? And we take other opinions. People, the answers to your epic adventure are inside of you. You got to access it. Go, like, what is in your heart? What is right in your heart? You got to feel it. You know, what is going to feed your soul? What thoughts, like, what intuitive nudges come to you? Because what they say is usually your first intuition is the right one. And that is so freaking true. Absolutely true. Your intuition is really the pathway to what your soul desires. And when you follow that and go through by that path, you know, you're going to find happiness so much more than trying to ask others, what should I do? What do you think I should do? You know, it's all inside of you. And finally, making an impact on the lives of others and the planet. Yes, you got to do yourself and do what makes you happy. But when you're doing what makes you happy, you have the power to share that happiness and make that impact on others, make that impact on the planet. And that's small impacts and big impacts. You know, you can make one person happy, and that can send out a ripple effect to so many other people. Like, you make one person's day, it can turn into 100, could turn into 1,000, could turn into 1 million. And then the bigger impacts, you know, what kind of big causes are you passionate about? Are you passionate about animals, the environment, helping to cure cancer, helping to cure like other diseases? We have the power to make an impact. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, but we have so much unlimited potential in us. And it just comes to getting past all the societal expectations. You know, we try to, going back to it, we try to do something different. We get labeled as weird. We get labeled with a disorder. We get labeled with so many things. Like I had a disorder put on me when I was like 2 or 3 years old, And very recently, I was told that, this disorder, what they say is a disorder, is really a spiritual gift.
Mm,
But society wants to label it as a disorder because it's not what is in line with what society wants.
mm.
And it's
Usually
like,
they don't understand or they're afraid. It's either they don't get it or they're afraid of it. That's usually where those come from, right?
yeah. And society, here's my one more take on society. I just don't think they care about our happiness.
Mm,
They care about everyone doing the same thing and not asking questions.
yeah.
But how do we get anywhere in life if we don't ask questions?
Mm. Yeah, I absolutely, I mean, that whole concept there is such a huge portion of why we homeschool. And the creativity and the question asking and all of that I've seen come from my children is just very different than how and I feel like I had a really good school education, but when I was there, it's like you go there, you learn what's in the book, and you ask questions about what's in the book or what's being taught to you, and that's pretty much, until you get up into college, and even then it's questionable, until you get up into college, you don't have a lot of that theory that well, what do you think about that, what do you feel about that kind of thing. And so that's that portion of what you're talking about is really, I feel like I'm creating the space for my children to have an epic adventure of their own. Bruiser, we're about coming towards the end of our time together, and I would love for you really briefly to go down those points that you made today. So if you want to have an epic adventure in your life, if you want your life to be an epic adventure, these are the things that you need to focus on. Will you share those with us again quickly, Bruiser?
Again, 1, creating the freedom to spend your days doing what you want, when you want, and with who you want. Then there's improving every area of your life while having a blast on the journey. It is not all work. It should be fun. Being one's authentic self and living by your top values, and figuring and making sure you know what your top values are so you can be that person. Breaking away from the societal expectations. Don't be afraid to be different. Be happy. Society doesn't care about your happiness. We're programmed to be a certain way, and that certain way is not conducive to being happy. Then there's building a community of people who are aligned with your vision of life. People are going to resonate with your message. There is going to be that group of people out there. You just got to find it. Even if it's not in your hometown, go online, do social media. There are those people out there. Living from one's heart, soul, and intuition. Get out of your head into your heart. Get those intuitive nudges in motion. And finally, making an impact on the lives of others and the planet. When you make yourselves happy, you can make others happy. You can make the planet better. So when you're living all 7 of those facets of your epic adventure, oh my gosh, your life is going to take a turn. Just like my life's been taking a turn for the past 3.5 years.
I love it, Bruiser, and I appreciate all of the nuggets of wisdom that you've shared with us and with our audience today. We've had a ton of really good comments. Kathy was just chiming in. She's really enjoyed everything that you've shared today, and we certainly appreciate. I love the fact that you are on this journey, not just by yourself, but have made it your mission to share that with other people, that last facet that you talk about. And that serves my Aquarian soul to heal the world and everybody be shiny, happy people. So I think it's fantastic. And thank you so much, Bruiser, for sharing with us today. And here comes the glasses. That's how we know that the time is up. They can connect with you, Bruiser, on Facebook and also on your website, bruiserbrosie.com, correct?
And I've recently started using Instagram, handle Big Bruiser 01. So you can connect with me also on Instagram. Definitely connect, because the journey is way more fun when you're doing it with other people. Sometimes you have to walk alone to start, but eventually the people are going to join you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bruiser, for being with us today. And we cannot wait to connect with you maybe next season and see where you're at on your epic adventure.
I'll be here.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
All right, Bruiser. Okay, ladies. So that was a lot, and we were having some fun behind the scenes. We're a little into astrology here on the show, and Bruiser had a plan when he came on here, and he got that message out, and I'm just so excited that he was able to, despite all of our talking as well, he was able to share all that information with all of you as well. Very Virgo of you, Bruiser, very Virgo, and we love it.
And I speak from a fellow Virgo. Kudos.
Yes.
Literally,
Have
actually,
a plan? Yes.
Bruiser and I are actually 364 days apart. Like I'm 364 days older than he is, which is weird to find that out. But anyways, at least I think that's how it worked out. But anyways, Bruiser, you can correct me later. But yeah, he is
so fun though. Yeah.
super passionate about that, which is awesome. Like he is, you can tell he's in his zone. Like, oh my goodness, like he was just, yeah, that was awesome.
He was a fiery Bruiser today.
He was like, Virgo's usually grounded, like not fire.
Yes, absolutely. So many good points though, and I think that, you know, I listened to all 7 of his points and feel like, wow, I really have been creating an epic adventure for myself. I really have been creating this lifestyle, because so much of what he was talking about, I've been there too, with, you know, doing what everyone thought I should do. And in fact, it's so funny because Tara, who's also a panelist on our show, on her Soul and Social show yesterday, she had a guest, Maria, on there, and we were having a little, as much of a conversation as we can have in Facebook comments of the show, about, you know, she was talking about her cancer diagnosis, and I was chiming in about a recent diagnosis that I've had, and talking about how, you know, we kind of get labeled and outcasted when we choose to do things that are not the societal norm of how we should handle our own health and how we should handle our own journey. And it's one of those things where you have to get to the point where you're just like, screw you guys, I have to do what feels good for me. You don't understand my journey or my shoes or any of my life.
My body, like,
yeah, get out of it. Well, I mean, that could have been, listen, this week in the news, you guys, that could have been a hot topic of itself, but we're not going to go there today. Get out of my body.
We got 3 minutes.
Too much.
I was like, we got 3 minutes.
Somebody lit a fire under her today, huh?
I was going to say, wow, there's fire happening all over today.
I know. What is going on? Well, I mean, listen, we're going
full moon's
tomorrow. That's what I was just going to say. Full moon tomorrow. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about that deep passion, the things that are buried within us that we are fired up about. Even though Scorpio is a water sign, it's emotional. When we connect with those things that we're passionate about, we get emotional, and we should share them and allow them to come out. And I you know, through the breakthrough in there, we were talking about creating a community, because that's how it feels when we come on this show and we can take these topics that you know, maybe we're looking at a little bit differently, and we can say no, but we're meeting in the middle on this. I can feel the passion from everybody, and I love that. I love it. Siri, give us a takeaway from today's show.
Well, I was amazed that his timeline was almost parallel to mine. That was just because I started in 2012. And what he said about being your authentic self and living by your intuition, not asking everybody else what they think. I mean, I know for me, back before I started going through my journey, it was almost like I would ask other people what they thought and go with what they thought. So if it went wrong, I could blame them, not myself. I wasn't taking responsibility for my own life. And I think that's where a lot of that comes in. You know, when people are asking for help, they want to have that safety net of somebody else to blame if something doesn't go right. If it doesn't go the way they want it to, well, I took her advice and so it's all her fault, you know. And I deal with a lot of that in the work that I do.
Mm.
You know,
And we talked about that when Aaron Fisher was on the show too, a little bit about the, you know, sometimes it's easier. It's easier to point the finger. It's easier to place blame. It's easier to not admit things. It's easier to not go deep. And there's no fault in that. That's your journey, and how you know, if someone is experiencing those things, it's definitely that's what they have to experience. But and it's so much work to dig deeper and to take responsibility and to take action. And you know, I was talking to my kids last night a little bit about my son was joking about something, and he said, isn't the first step admitting it? Isn't that, and he's like, that's the hardest. I'm like, it's not really. It's easy to say, hey, because I see people all the time that say, hey, I've got this going on, but that recognize it, but then they don't do anything about it. They sit in that same spot. And so I feel like taking action and you know, choosing to live that epic adventure, choosing to have the lifestyle that you want is a whole other ball game compared to sitting back and going, well, an epic adventure sounds nice.
Yep.
You know, that kind of thing. But anyway, great show today, everybody. So thank you all so much for everybody that has been hanging out in the comments of the show. We appreciate you so much. And of course, big thank you to our guest today, Bruiser Brosey. Thank you for sharing your epic adventure lifestyle with us and for inspiring other people to do the same as well. Also, big thanks to our panelists today, our declutter coach and consultant, Heather Clark, and our trauma mama, Siri Ridenauer. Thank you, ladies, for chiming in today. And you want to talk about an epic adventure? We have an epic show coming up next week. First of all, we only have 2 episodes left in the season. Sad face, but happy face, because we'll be back for season 3 in August. But until then, we have an epic show coming up next week. So we're going to have a little flashback Friday next week and take a peek back at season 1 of The Breakthrough, which obviously happened at the end of 2018. For our panelists next week, we have Lori Ann Davis, the beautiful Heather Clark, and the wonderful Tara Abram coming on the show. They have been my panelists since the beginning of The Breakthrough, since inception.
Since the dawn of time. Sorry, I just had to
And
throw
we
that in.
also have a special guest panelist coming back. Jamad Kelly will be with us next week. So we're excited to have a little Jamad.
He found some time to be with us in his travels.
And we also have a fabulous lineup of guests, and we're going to get the chance to ask them, where are they now, and have they had any more breakthroughs since being on the show? Everybody's going to be welcoming back Lucinda Harmon, Miha Matlievsky, Teresa Warren, Tina C. Hines, Suzanne Doolin, Genevieve Kahn, Betty Ann Tucker, Tamia Montessori, Jolianne Tremblay, Claudette Gadsden, Nicola Humber, and Effie Owafasa. We are excited to have a full house next week. It's going to be fast-paced and exciting, and it's going to be such a thrill to reconnect with our guests and panelists from season 1. So everybody make sure you tune in next week for this very epic episode. Same time, same place, 12 p.m. Central Time, right here on Facebook or on thebreakthroughshow.com. Wishing you all a wonderful weekend and have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.